The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I am dressed for the part. I am dressed as Celia, who is one of the main characters in this novel. This novel is difficult to explain what it is about, so I'm going to read the back because I think it puts it better than I could put it. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called Night Circus de I can't pronounce that word because I don't know that language. And it is only open at night. But beyond the scene, a fierce competition is underway. A duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences, and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. This novel is so good. This video is going to be all about spoilers and it's going to be a discussion basically of everything that happened in this novel. So if you have not read this book, I suggest watching my shout out video where I talk about this, and that has no spoilers in it, so I'll leave the link below and you can go check that out. Okay, the first part I want to talk about is just kind of the plot in general. The book, like if you read the back, you know, when you read the reviews, it kind of talks a lot about the romance in this book, and for me, the romance wasn't even a big part of the book. Like, I mean, thinking about it, I guess, yeah, it kind of plays a big part of it, but like it wasn't important as much to the story to me. Like, the only reason it mattered to me was because I wanted to know what happened with the circus and everything. But for me, I just love the circus, and I love Bailey's story. I mean, Celia and Marco are very important to the story, I mean, clearly, because they, like, run the circus. But Bailey, I just love his story. It makes me really happy. And when I would have the sections with Bailey's story, I would go forward and, like, see when the next section with Bailey's story was, because I really liked his story. This book is kind of, like, slow, but it's not. I don't think it's meant to be slow. It's just super detailed. I mean, this is, well, my version of it is a paper copy. It's, like 500 pages, like 506 pages, I think. And I think the hardcover is less. It's like 300, but it is taller. But yeah, there's so much detail, and the author goes into such detail talking about everything. And so because of that, it kind of goes slow because, you know, take your time talking about everything. And she starts out right when they're little kids and they first get involved in this competition, and it goes until for like decades and decades, but Marco and Celia don't age once the circus starts, so they're stuck at like 20, like 19, 18, around there, like between 18 and 20. And yeah, and it's just really cool, I think. I mean, that's really cool. I love the characters in this novel, though. I mean, they're so in-depth, and there's a lot of character development, and especially with like Bailey and the twins, and they're great. And I was reading in a question and answer with Erin Morgenstern, the author, and she said that her favorite characters were the twins. I think she said specifically Poppet, but maybe it was Richard too. I can't remember exactly. And at first I was like, well, I mean, they're okay, but like as the novel progresses, they get more and more important and they get better and better. This circus, though, like the way they describe it, it's like I want to go there so bad. It's so cool. Like there's so many tents, a lot of them you don't even know about, and like nobody can truly go to every tent. Like I just think that's awesome. And then there's like the food and everything. And I was thinking when I was reading this how like whenever Bailey's hanging out with them, they always get like food, and it's like all the food is like caramel corn and popcorn and like cider and stuff. And I'm like, and like chocolate, and like these are kind of unhealthy foods. Like, are they gonna get fat? Is this all they eat? Do they have other food? So I have that question. This is a book, though, that I think needs to be read twice, because you're reading it and you're going through and you have to kind of like focus on everything to catch everything, and it's hard to. And I think going through the second time and actually knowing what's happening, knowing what's going on, I think you can get a better picture of it and you can just understand it better. Okay, the little sections in these books, like I think they're poems, like the Hanged Man, like these that appear every once in a while. Those, I mean, I thought they were kind of alluding to things. Like, I guess they are a little bit, but not as much as I was expecting, I guess. And so I was like, or like, I thought it was foreshadowing, like, okay, so this little poem's about this, so this is gonna happen, and then that didn't really happen. And so I think knowing that and going through the second time is gonna change some things, or, you know, they might be foreshadowing and I just didn't even notice. And I really like this novel's a super weird setup. I mean, there's like, it goes back and forth in time to when Celia and Marco's story, and then Bailey's story. And at first, it confused me and it throws me off the dates. And I find myself going through the chapter and having to go back and check the dates and try to figure out what time period it is. And then I'll check Bailey's and check in, figure out what's going on with Bailey's time period in according to Celia and Marco's. And like, that was confusing. But I like going back and forth and having like both stories going on at once. Like, Bailey's not to the same extent, but it's still happening. I do like that Widget's, when Widget was talking to Alexander, or whatever his name was, because they never actually say his real name, and he's talking to him, and then he basically tells the poems. And I like that all the poems were Widget, and he actually has them, like, alludes to the future, and I think that's really cool. I also like the whole, when he's talking with Alexander and they're talking about magic, and I think it's them who's talking about magic, and they're like, it's not magic, it's not wizardry or anything, it's just like noticing the world around you from a different perspective and stuff. And I think that was really cool. Like, I like that a lot. Okay, that's basically everything I had to say about this book. It was very good. I suggest it to anybody who likes circus books or magic or in-depth novels, I guess. And that is it. Bye! And this is uncomfortable. I'm not Celia, go ahead.